I do regret voting at all. I wish I'd just stayed right out of it.
Well,
My only saving grace is I drew a horrible image on my polling card, and hopefully it didn't go through at all, but I expect it did.
what persuaded you to go in
Okay.
that direction then?
So I guess relentless gaslighting from the media.
Right.
I'm a Daily Mail reader. I read it because I understand it. I do read The Guardian. I like it. I know they don't have a paywall, but you have to keep signing up to read stories and
Yeah.
stuff. It's easy to go on the Daily Mail, and I understand the language they use.
Okay.
I don't particularly like the way they speak and the way people are. I tend to be a bit of a freedom fighter on there, and
Okay. But that is
I
your.
could change opinions.
So it's a simple ease of access, really, that explains.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they did. They relentlessly gaslighted us, and it's not about people. Where I come from, it's not a desirable area to live. Nobody
Okay.
wants to be here. But all our work went. All the factories went. We lost the Cam Brands factory. We lost sewing factories. We lost credit card making factories. They just all went, and they were a little bit semi-skilled. So we've gone from just working in supermarkets and finding jobs where we can and driving. A lot of the people, we were promised our jobs back. We were promised semi-skilled work. We really thought we were going to start making things again.
The more seductive the promise, the more tempting it is not to look too closely at the detail, I think, sometimes.
Yep. And when you don't understand politics, the way it's so cloudy, opaque politics, it's just, especially if you understand the Daily Mail and you can't understand completely the Guardian and stuff, and you haven't had that kind of education, you're just left with what the hearsays and gives and what everyone's talking about.
Yeah. And I suppose the more undiluted your environment is, the more, the fewer people you encounter who are going to take it. Because this is something I discovered. It's lovely I'm not going to patronize you, Julie, by saying that. Because you're clearly very intelligent, and I understand what you're saying about newspapers and education, but you'll also, I hope, let me say that I can just tell by talking to you that you got no worries on that front, but you think that you do. You think that you do, and that's part of the contribution to the conversation. But I remember being stunned by people who were adamant that everybody agreed with them. And it took me a while to realise that every single person they met did agree with them, whether it was in the pub or online or in the the canteen at work. That's what you're describing, an almost unchallenged position reached by gaslighting or by media lies, but unchallenged by
a community formed.
Exactly that. Yes, and it became part of people's identity.
We all, but that's exactly what happened. But the difference is, the morning that vote came in and it didn't go the way everyone wanted it to, it wasn't until that moment that we were all the dregs of the universe now.
How do you mean?
It wasn't. I remember my sister, she didn't know whether to vote Brexit or Remain. Yeah. She was really flip-flopping right until the very last minute. And then she chose to vote Remain. And then as soon as the vote came in the next day, it was all... the tables had turned, and there was a gang of nastiness on everyone that had voted Brexit for whatever reason. It just completely turned, and then we were all like turds in the swimming pool. We weren't before that.
Well, I think today's been helpful, hasn't it, for reminding us of all the because I'll use your phrase once. There were some very big turds in our swimming pool who were very, very, very prominent Brexiters, and those. They shouldn't have been allowed. No, they shouldn't have been allowed in the swimming pool in the first place. Let alone afforded a special lane and a synchronised swimming coach. But
this vote was too big for us.
Yeah, was for me. I wasn't qualified to vote in the referendum.
No.
Not really. I would be now, but I wasn't then.